Wala na ho talagang nangyari dito sa bansa na to. Paano ba naman kasi? Punta ka ng Senado, impeachment trial, sinisiraan si VP Sara. Punta ka ng House of Representatives, kaliwat kanan, mayat maya ang pagpapa-interview at press con nila. Ang topic, si VP Sara. Punta ka ng Malacanang, anti-clear. Sino topic? VP Sara na naman. Ngayon ho, ombudsman, epicenter daw ho ng flood control anomaly, ang Davao City, pambihira naman ho. Kumusta naman ang Bulacan? Kumusta Quezon City? Kumusta ang Ilocos Norte? Ba't bigla tayo napunta sa Davao City? Like at subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan at sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button nandyan lang ho sa baba. Eto, bago tayo magtungo kay sa debate, sa palitan nitong si Senator Alan Peter Cayetano at nitong si Boy Pagpag, itong si Bam Aquino, pasadaan ho muna natin itong si Boying Rimulya. Ito muna kay Boying Rimulya, tapos pag-usapan natin yung kanyang mga sinabi. Ito. Iginit ni Ombudsman Boying Rimulya na nagpapatuloy ang pagkalap nila ng ebidensya tungkol sa umano'y flood control corruption sa Davao City, pambihira. Sa Bulacan, wala. Preliminary investigation pala itong si Joel Villanueva. Okay. Nilinaw naman niyang pinag-aaralan pa nila ang mga detalye. Diyan kayo magaling. Aral lang ng aral sa ombudsman. Huwag kayong titigil na mag-aral, Kay Martin Romualdez, ipa-file na. Joel Villanueva, ipa-file na. Maya-maya, balik preliminary investigation. Inuunggoy mo kami, Boying Di ka lang pala kulay unggoy. Ugaling unggoy ka pa. Pambira. Hindi lang humadali talaga sapagkat sabihin natin ang epicenter ng flood control bago dumating ang Marcos administration ay ang Davao City. For your information, Mr. Boying Rimulya. Si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, kahit siya kayo magpuntang lugar sa Luzon at sa Visayas, yun ang inuna niya. Bagong seaport, bagong airport, kalsada, yan ang inuna ni Tatay Digong. Kahit saan ka magpunta, inuna niya yung mga seaport at airport sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas. Hinuli niya ang kanyang lugar para walang masabi yung mga makakaliwa, mga dilawan, mga pinklawan ng mga panahon na yun. Gagawa ka na lang ng Marites, Boying, fake news ka pa. Davao po yung ecosystem na aming tinutukoy dahil doon po ang maraming pondo na pumasok daw sa flood control. Yan po ang aming kinakalap ng gusto. Dagdag pa ni Rimulya. Dagdagan mo lang, Boying. Dagdagan mo lang. Hindi maganda kasi okay lang naman kung totoo Isipin nyo na lang ho ito, mga kababayan. Kung merong mga bidding, merong mga flood control, merong anomalya, alin ang pinakauunan nilang sisilipin? Noong pang 2024 hindi 2025 kasi 2024 ibinida niya, di ba? Hindi, 2024, mahiya naman kayo. 2023, 5,500 flood control, ibinida niya nung SONA. 2025, mahiya naman kayo. 2025, ay mali, 2024 pala, 2023, nalilito-lito ka na PH. 2023, ibinida niya 5,500 flood control project. Tama, mali? Palakpakan muna. 2024, ano sabi ni Marcos Jr.? Mahiya naman kayo. Pagkasabi niya ng mahiya naman kayo, ano ang pinakaunang sinilip? Flood control sa Davao City. Kahit na ang Baha, Bulacan, Pampanga, Metro Manila, Quezon City, Laguna, Batangas, Cavite, kahit dyan yung baha, saan nag-focus ang mga investigative agency ng pamahalaan? Sa Davao City. Sa tingin niyo ba, 2024, 2025, ngayon 2026, sabihin mo sa amin na ang sentro ng nakawan sa flood control ay ang Davao City. Di ka lang kulay unggoy di ka lang kulay atay. Ang sama ng ugali mo, Boying. Good luck na lang sa'yo. Good luck na lang talaga. Ako, si Boying ako, ako dito, malamang sa malamang, alamang. Ito pakinggan natin.
Davao as the epicenter of...
flood control because there's a big budget in the past in Davao City.
Totoo. Kasi nungalingan ho yan. Si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte, ibinuhos niya mga budget sa Bulacan, sa iba't ibang bahagi ng Pilipinas. At anong mga ginawa nila? Seaport, airport, mga daan. 'Di ba? Yun ang pinoko si dati Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte. Hinuli niya ang Davao City. At saka 2022, 2020, 2019, 'di ba? Maute. 2020 papasok naman ang pandemic. 21, 22, wala akong mga infrastructure diyan. Bakit? Kasi nga lockdown. So yung mga natitira, nag-focus si dating Pangulong Rodrigo Duterte sa Tokhang. Kaya yan, inuunggoy na naman tayo ng mga unggoy sa ombudsman.
That's what I know.
But not corruption per se.
Well, we will check out the flood control.
Check lang. Buhay ganyan ko. Buhay ganyan ka, yung paganyan-ganyan mo. Gustong nakikita yan ng kababayan natin, yung paganyan ganyan. Kala mo talaga totoo sinasabi, no?
As what I said in the
Propaganda. Kung ano nangyayari sa impeachment trial ni VP Sara, anong nangyayari sa Malacanang ni Auntie Claire, anong nangyayari sa kaliwat ka ng papreskon ng mga congressman dyan sa House of Representatives, propaganda, paninira sa mga Duterte. Hindi makakapagpababa sa approval at trust rating ni VP Sara ng mga Duterte. Yung ginagawa mo na yan. Boyeng, pambihira. Siyempre, sasagot si Kong Pulong. Naku, alam nga naman, di ba? Alam nga naman, di sumagot si Kong Pulong. Ano sabi ni Kong Pulong? Sabi ni Boy, ang epicenter ng flood control bago dumating ang Marcos administration ay Davao City, palakpakan. Sabi ni Boying yan sumagot si Kong Pulong. Siyempre ito si Kong Pulong. Hindi naman niya matatakot ito kay Boying Remulla. Walang pakialam. Ang mga Duterte ngayong mga panahon na to, wala na hong pakialam. Pagkatapos ng ginawa nila sa kanilang ama, wala nang mas worse pa doon sa ginawa nila na yon sa kanilang ama. Kaya itong mga Duterte na to, sasabihin nila gusto nila sabihin, gagawin nila ang gusto nilang gawin dahil binaboy ng administrasyon nito ang kanilang pamilya. Kung Davao ang tinutukoy niyang epicenter, then show us the complete records. Lahat ng tao, lahat ng proyekto, lahat ng pangalan, walang pili, walang exempted. Hinamon ka na, Bonjing. Ay, Bonjing tuloy. Boyeng! Puro kas ka bonjingan ginagawa mo dyan sa ombudsman, kaya ka nababansag ang bonjing Di ba? Parang ikaw siya, bonjing yung parang matanda na, umaasta pa rin bata yan ang problema kay bonjing. Bonjing tuloy. Boyeng! Hamon na, hinamon ka na nitong si Congressman Pulong. Anong gagawin mo niyan? Baka maduduwag ka niyan. Sa bagay matapang ka pala kasi hindi lang sa Remulla ka, ombudsman ka na, DILG pa kapatid mo. Palakpakan. Sino nagpapatakbo sa Pilipinas? Mga Remulla, akala nyo lang. Remulla nagpapatakbo sa Pilipinas. Punta ko tayo kay Senator Alan Peter Cayetano.
First, let me thank Senator Tulfo for his work on the overseas Filipino workers and express my support for the bill. I don't know whether I should be happy or sad today because when we drafted from scratch the law or the bill that created the Department of Migrant Workers, precisely yung laman ng bill na to, ang intention, kaya ka may specific department for migrant workers, ay ma-accomplish na nito yung mga adikain ng bill na to. So, don't get me wrong. It's a very good bill. We need it. It's just that after decades in the legislature, in the House of Representatives here, we sometimes wonder, do we always need a law or can the departments get things done, especially when it is completely under its mandate? Just a little bit of history, Mr. President. When we first drafted, at least my version of the law, I was still in the Senate, then it was passed when I joined the House of Representatives and was Speaker for a brief period. The House version was actually the Department of Overseas Filipinos. Because, for example, in the US, we have 6 million Filipino Americans. In Europe, third, fourth generation na yung mga Filipinos doon. Some of them never been to the Filipinos, but sabi nga ng mga lolo nila, proud kami dito kasi ito yung mga graduates, professional, ito yung mga nasa mga bagong industriya na uso ngayon, at ito na yung mga may pera. So the original intent was not only to help our OFWs, but there were three original intents there. No? One, to really develop the global Filipino. Two, to have a specific department na walang ginawa kung hindi humanap ng better opportunities for Filipinos abroad. For example, no, apples to apples, 2-3 countries where Filipinos serve as nannies. No? Apples to apples, maganda sweldo, maganda kalagayan, pero yung isang country delikado, whether because of culture, whether because of misunderstandings, or whether there's high crime there. No? That department is supposed to look for another country or to develop the country where mas feasible, mas safe ang mga Filipino. The third intention was really to look at the next generation. So for example, if you go to Hong Kong, makikita mo for a measly compared to, so for example, 5,000 Hong Kong, which is about 40,000 pesos. Definitely, Mr. President, hindi kikitain ng kasambahay dito sa Pilipinas yon. So malaki yon para sa isang kasambahay dito para kitain yon. Pero measly siya kung iiwanan mo ang pamilya mo for that amount compared dun sa iba who are getting $2,000, $4,000. Pero kung sasabihin nyo, well, yung kumukuha kasi for example ng, let's say 100,000 pesos worth to 150, sila yung mga chef. Ito yung chef ng hindi pa nga yung mga Michelin but yung mga, let's say, semi-fast food sa Singapore. No? But having said that, let's say the 40,000 na kasambahay na wala kang sariling kwarto dahil mahal ang space sa Hong Kong, na Sunday ka lang pwede lumabas at pagkatapos lahat pinagagawa sa iyo, laba, linis, alaga ng bata, for just a little bit more educational attainment, you can make 80,000 or 100,000 in sales also in Hong Kong or in Singapore. No? So my point, Mr. President, is that in supporting this bill, may I also urge my two colleagues, the two Senator Raffy and Senator Erwin, by next year, up for mandatory review yung batas ng DMW. Kasi when it was passed end of 2021, na pirmahan ko, hindi ako nagkakamali, start ng 2022. And then, so by start of next year, mandatory review nung 5 years. So none of us who sponsored during that time at wala pang tulfo sa Senado noon, meron na sa Kongreso, if I may say to my friend Senator Raffy, the better tulfo was in the House of Representatives, si Madam. We're not saying it's a perfect bill. In fact, my argument whether or not dapat ihiwalay ang DMW sa Department of Foreign Affairs. And when I suddenly became Secretary of Foreign Affairs but filed this bill, si Attorney Sara sitting behind me, si Yusek Sara, who handled, the migrant workers affairs, they asked us, itutuloy mo pa ba yung bill? Ikaw na yung Secretary of Foreign Affairs. At sinagot ko sa kanila, alam mo, sa bawat puntahan ko, pagka multilateral siya, parang isisingit mo yung pag-meet sa OFWs. Multilateral meaning UN, yung iba-ibang states, di ba? ASEAN, ganon. Pero pag bilateral engagement siya, punta ka sa Japan, punta ka sa Korea, medyo standard na ma-meet mo yung OFWs. But let's say when I went to Saudi Arabia, we had 3 things in our agenda: security, economics, and then OFWs. Ang pinakamarami sa listahan yung OFWs. And I have to thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and my counterpart then, because sinabi sa akin ng ambassador doon, and I have to thank Ambassador Alonto, na parang, sir, sa 7-8 na hingin natin, baka 3 lang ibigay nila. But you know, he patiently seated in front of me, isa-isa. Tapos, nung nagko-coffee, nagdi-dinner na kami after, sabi ko kay Ambassador, ba't mo sinabing 3 lang? Sabi niya, sir, sa dami kong meetings with secretaries at sa diplomacy, hindi mo mahihingi lahat, humahaba meeting, di ba, may kasabihan na humingi ka ng 1, humingi ng 10, ganun din. So usually, hingin mo yung pinakamalaki. So my point is, Mr. President, is that the reality is that OFW welfare is such a pillar of our diplomacy and our foreign policy that siya yung unang tinatamaan kung wala kang separate department. Having said that, iba kasi ang stature ng DFA. Kahit ano sabihin mo, pag pumunta ka ng China, ng Korea, ng US, di ba, mas talagang sasalubungin, kakausapin, mas may weight pag yung Secretary of Foreign Affairs than the Secretary of Migrant Workers. Tapos meron ka pang Labor Secretary. So sa ibang mga bansa, Labor Secretary ang kilala, wala naman silang Department of Migrant Workers. So sometimes you need to bring your Secretary of Foreign Affairs, your Secretary of Labor, and your Secretary of Migrant Workers. Going back to my point, I'd like to support the provision na nilagay ni Senator Tulfo Rafi na interagency. Because for example, no, going back to Hong Kong, what is sad for me is binigay na nung OFW yung buong buhay niya para sa maliit na sweldo, between 25 to 40,000, malaki na yung 40 doon. Pero yung anak niya, hindi pa rin nakapag-aral, so yung anak, dun pa rin napupunta. Unlike for example, yung nakita ko mga engineer at architect sa Saudi, sila ang hari dun eh. Sila ang medyo siga dun eh. And then talagang proud sila kasi nga, hindi lang entry level ang pagpunta ng anak. And then because there's so much construction, when they go back to the Philippines or when they're recruited in Europe or Southeast Asia, partnership material na yung mga nandun. So I really hope we pass this bill, but I hope we can review it side by side with how the Department of Migrant Workers can be more effective. No? Last point is that during President Aquino's time, 2013, there was a push for more support for micro, small, and medium enterprise. And if you reviewed Asia, you take out the three bigger countries, Japan, China, and then in-include sa review yung India, although we strictly speaking sa Asia, no? Parang nahuhuli na naman tayo sa dami ng programa for entrepreneurship. So, ang dami-dami nilang programa for startups. So, if in many countries like Singapore and Korea, if you have a good idea and tingin nila ma-implement mo, may pera. Sa atin, 5-6 pa rin ang baksak mo. Pag wala ka talagang kapital, the banks are out, the pawn shops are out, ang landing mo talaga 5-6, na may limit din ang pwede mong utangin. And even if makautang ka ng 1 million sa 5-6, you have to pay 20% or a little bit over 20%. So I hope that in passing this bill, we can all help Senator Tulfo in making sure that DTI, SB Corp, the Central Bank, DepEd, CHED are all doing their job, that the next generation of OFWs will have better opportunities, not only because there's a bill like this, but because they're better educated, they're better funded, and we had better programs for all of them. Having said that, I'm excited to discuss this at the proper time and to ask the departments how they will not only help this bill and coordinate, but how will they make sure that this bill will really translate into success for our OFWs. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Minority Leader. Yes, we recognize Senator Erwin Tulfo.
Rafi po.
Rafi Tulfo
Kamukha
for
kasi.
the intervention.
Akin pong
Pero yan-
taus-pusong pasasalamat.
Yan si yan ba? Hindi nagtitip lang pala. Nang titip lang yan, nang titip lang yan.
Sa ating Honorable Minority Leader, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Salamat po. Thank you for the reminder, Minority Leader, Senator Alan. We will organize and convene the Oversight Committee as soon as possible and undertake the proper review of the DMW law. That is one of the priorities of the Migrant Committee in the coming days. Again, thank you very much, Minority Leader, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Sir.
Yeah, thank you. At hindi pa naman huli, sir, kasi technically January pa naman next year. But it's just an opportunity because yung bill mo maganda. Thank you then, Mr. President.
I also agree with our minority leader na in being our former Department of Foreign Affairs Secretary, ang pinakamahalaga o isa sa pinakamahalaga nating foreign policy ay ang ating mga OFWs. Saan tayo pumunta ngayon, may OFWs eh. At yung kanilang kapakanan ay dapat natin bigyan ng prioridad, no? Dahil yung kanilang inuuwi sa pamilya nila ay nakakatulong rin para sa ating ekonomiya. Kaya ako isang ayon po ako sa mga manifestation ng ating minority leader.
Mr. President, I remember many years ago, I went to Malacanang personally to meet with then DFA Secretary Alan Cayetano para ilapit yung problema ng tatlong OFW na hindi ma-action-actionan kung ano-ano ang ahensyang pinuntahan ko na. At nung pumunta ako kay Secretary Cayetano at that time sa Malacanang, kasi DOF Secretary siya, agad-agad in less than a week or so na-solve yung problema. Of course, with the help of Senator Bongo as well at that time. Thank you. Thank you.
Ayos. O, dito na ho tayo sa sagutan ni
Pagsuporta sa
Bam. Saka nitong si Senator
napakahalagang
Cayetano.
panukalang batas.
And Mr. President, if I, with the permission of Senator Raffy Tulfo, if it can be made also co-sponsor and co-author of the measure.
So,
With this permission. Thank you, sir.
so recorded.
We fully support this measure of Senator Raffy Tulfo. To allow our colleagues to study them. Yes, we'd also like to put on record the co-sponsorship speech of Senator Villanueva be placed on record. In the records
The
of the
Secretary
Senate.
is directed to insert into the records the co-sponsorship speech of Senator Villanueva.
To allow our colleagues to study the measure further, I move to suspend consideration of the
Is there any objection? Hearing none, consideration of the measure is hereby suspended.
Mr. President, I move that we resume consideration of the masustansyang pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act. That's Senate Bill number 2272. I so move, Mr. President.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, consideration of the measure is hereby in order.
Ito
Mr.
na.
President, I move that we recognize our sponsor, Senator Bam Aquino, and to interpolate our distinguished minority floor leader, Senator Alan Peter
So
Cayetano.
we recognize the sponsor, Senator Bam Aquino, and to interpolate our distinguished minority leader, Senator Alan Cayetano.
Yes, Mr. President, before our good minority leader, just for the record, this is the enhanced National Nutrition Program, the Masustansyang Pagkain para sa Batang Pilipino Act, which I actually principally sponsored on my first term. We're amending this law. So ito po ang Enhanced National Nutrition Program. And yes, we would gladly answer any questions from our minority leader.
Good afternoon, Mr. President, Majority Leader. To my dear friend and author, sponsor of this law. For the record, we've spent actually the last 30 minutes in my office, and I'd like to thank Senator Bam, of course, ED Carol, who everyone knows from EDCOM. Representatives, hindi ko na kayo babatiin isa-isa. DSWD, DOH, and DepEd, because we tried to sort out some, and DILG, some issues. But before I go to that, first question, Mr. President, is that, am I correct that this isn't only an enhancing masustansyang pagkain para sa Batang Pinoy Act? It actually transformed the program into a comprehensive nutrition act.
Yes, Mr. President. In fact, the first bill merely focused on the school-based feeding program, and the amendments to this bill tries to put together all of the programs for nutrition in our government, Mr. President.
Yes, and that's one reason I'd really like to support this bill and give some inputs, because I really like it when the bills evolve into transformative measures rather than just reactionary or, of course, all of our bills try to solve a problem. But I think this, the way you wrote this bill, it really goes into yung sinabi sa Constitution na ang kabataan natin, of course, si Dr. Jose Rizal ang nagsabing siya ang ating future or ang kabataan pag-asa ng bayan. But if you look at the Philippine Constitution, it's very clear there that when you talk about the future, you talk about our children, and it's very clear that health is mental, emotional, physical, spiritual. Although in the bill we'll be dealing more with physical, I think we will see later that stunting actually will affect every single thing, your emotional, your physical, your health, your mental, and even your spiritual well-being. No?
Yes, Mr. President.
So with your permission, may I start with that, with stunting?
Yes.
No? So I'd like to take note that Senator Bam spent that time with us, and I don't think he's feeling that great today. And I know the feeling because I've been having more of those days when, as you get older. So I'd just like to recognize that you're here, you're working. Siguro na re-realize mo na mas mabigat ang nararamdaman ng malnourished na bata o may sakit na batang may sakit sa ating bansa than what you're feeling now. And may I ask if we can have a common definition of terms and a common monitoring or measurement system throughout the agencies so that every time we talk about nutrition and problems related to health and nutrition, apples to apples yung comparison natin.
Yes, Mr. President. In fact, thank you for pointing that out, that we may need to begin with maybe a definition of terms so that all our definitions are on the same measure and we all agree. The peculiar thing about this measure, Mr. President, is that when you talk about nutrition, hindi lang po siya isang ahensya. Actually, it's DOH, DILG, the LGUs, DepEd, and then you have attached agencies like the NNC, that all need to work together, and DSWD, of course, that all need to work together to do it right, no?
Yeah.
It's not just about money. It's not just about funding it, Mr. President. Dapat may pondo, pero dapat tama rin yung programa. And that begins with a common language, common definitions. We agree on monitoring para pare-parehas po yung ating accomplishment or lack of accomplishment. Dapat po magkakatono po yan. So we agree, Mr. President. If it's not yet there in the bill, we will of course welcome amendments later on to have us on the same page, and as well as common terms and goals for monitoring. Of course, Mr. President, we can add further definitions. There were definitions in the original bill, and of course, we refer to that bill, but it would be good maybe to put it again as another part of this measure, Mr. President.
Yes. I mean, we did the meeting a while ago privately, but I think the productivity came because it's really more like a BICAM meeting minus the House of Representatives, di ba? I mean, unlike sa committee hearings, sometimes the guests hear more of what the senators say rather than them speaking. So our hearings are more of talkings eh. Kasi ang ibig sabihin ng hearing tayo makikinig, but I guess the nature of our job and the nature of our politics, we do more of the talking. Kapag dito naman, of course, we have our resource persons, but in a free-flowing discussion, marami talagang lumalabas na problema, and I'm happy that the secretaries sent very responsible people, so they gave us not only the right answers, but they were honest where the problems come in. No?
Yes.
So we started our discussion, Mr. President. IM, tatlong I, isang M. M, monitoring. Yung tatlong I, implementation, RE, funding. Implementation, RE, accountability, or sino ba yan? DILG ba yan? LGU ba yan? DSWD. And then implementation as to goals and objectives. And then yun nga yung monitoring. So actually, Mr. President, we started with monitoring because I noticed, and I think Senator Bam also noticed, that ang layo ng statistics ng FNRI, ng DOST, who is tasked with the Nutrition Council to come out with annual surveys. So ito yung pinag-usapan natin last year that I took up a lot of your time, Mr. President, nung ikaw ang chairman nung finance. And you were very supportive. Unfortunately, the secretaries were not that supportive. So medyo kulang pa rin yung pondong nilagay nila. But naglalaro sa 25% or 1/4, 1 out of 4 Filipinos. I was asking Senator Bam kung may information siya dito. Pero pareho kami ng reading eh. Kasi both the DOH and the DOST statistics mention prevalence or prevalence, di ba? Not potential or and we were saying, if you look at the regional in Metro Manila, it's about mid-20s. And if you look at Taguig, it was like same, mga, 2023, 19.9%. But when we looked at the actual numbers, and this was brought by house-to-house surveys, in 2015, it was 11,000 something stunted. And to last year, it was less than 400. So it was less than 1%. So I was telling Senator Bam, ang layo naman siguro ng 1 out of 5, 20%, doon sa 1 out of 200. No? So we were discussing, Mr. President, if DOST and DOH, LGUs, DILG can come up with the better monitoring, not only of the solution but also of the problem. Ilan talaga ang malnourished, ilan yung severe yung malnourishment, ilan yung stunted, and then gaano kadalas yung monitoring para alam natin kung successful yung intervention natin o hindi. Kasi by mere definition ng stupidity, di ba sabi ni Einstein, keep doing the same thing and then expecting a different result. So I don't mind that part of the solution is best practices around the world. Of course, it has to be science, data, evidence-based. But on the other hand, you can't keep applying old solutions to new problems, even if your new problem is also an old problem. So I also don't mind my konting experimentation or trial and error. But before I give Senator Bam the floor, both of us realized when the departments were reporting or telling us what was happening, we both realized that hindi kasi house-to-house yung survey. So it's a annual survey na probability then.
Random sampling.
Random sampling. They use scientific methods of coming up with the statistics, may probability. Ang problema, that helps you to see kung gaano kalaki yung danger. But to one is to one addressing the child's need, hindi mo magagamit yon. So unlike, for example, if I want to know ilan ang walang trabaho sa Pilipinas, if we want to know yung self-rated poverty, pwede ka mag-random sampling kasi more or less tama, di ba? But let's say if you want to know teenage pregnancy, in terms of just knowing if it's there and gaano ka prevalent, okay. Pero if you want to help them one-on-one, especially at the barangay, school, church, or LGU or municipal city level, it's not enough that you have a random sample because you have to know where they live, what their circumstances and everything. No? So medyo sinamarize ko lang na mahaba pa rin, Senator Bam, but I'll give you the floor.
Yes. Currently, Mr. President, the DOST FNRI does the survey every 5 years. So ang tagal rin po ng duration, no, yung gaano katagal yung mga survey, and it's only regional data. So what we can do, Mr. President, at the right time, we can make an amendment really specifically talking about a yearly survey. We can identify what kind of survey, although honestly, Mr. President, I would leave that to the implementing agencies already. So currently, DOST FNRI does it, but the one responsible is really NNC kasi sila yung nutrition surveillance. But at the right time, Mr. President, at the minimum, I think we have to do it more often. No? Yung every 5 years po ay masyadong matagal. And we can put it in the law such that mandated po talaga na tatrack po natin ng maayos yung prevalence of stunting. No? Thank you po.
And, just to honor Senator JV, Senator Risa, Senator Pia, yourself, Senator Migs, who is here, and Senate President, many times, I think we were in the LEDAC together where Senator JV was talking about when Senator Migs was SP, talking about the barangay health workers. Because maybe we can do even better than a random probability-based survey But if we compute kasi, if you look at AIX, in 2026, 63 billion. Ngayon, 33 billion, but I think this will be increased. MAIP is 51 billion and TUPAD is 22 billion. So even if you take out MAIP, you have 85 billion pesos on aid to those who need it most. Even TUPAD, it's to workers, but pwede ring yung barangay health workers at saka yung nutrition scholars, pwedeng AIX or TUPAD ang ibibigay mo, and most of them are volunteers. Some cities actually pay them. I think we passed the bill and hoping it won't be vetoed or hoping that mapasa to. But ang point ko, Mr. President, a house-to-house, first of all, diba, some cities, I think both the city of the present Senate President and the city I serve at Taguig City, we have a house-to-house survey 2 to 4 times a year. All households to. I think similar yung nag-assist sa amin sa Valenzuela at saka sa Taguig. But here, we're not even talking about all households. We're talking about pregnant hanggang sa 1,000 days. Then, of course, the schools. One thing we discussed, Mr. President, is if we can mandate the schools, if it's not already mandated, and equip the schools to have height and weight. Ngayon, high-tech na lahat yun. Pero dati, di ba, it's the most simple. Yung timbangan sa doktor na igaganon mo yung bakal dito and you take off your shoes, di ba? And kasi, Mr. President, when we go to the definitions, many of what we're talking about now, by definition at yung unang tingin mo is really weight and height and then age. So it doesn't have to be done in a clinic or doesn't have to be done by health professionals in the barangays or barangay health workers. It can be done in schools. So for those who are above 5 years old or those in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, pwede na nating gawin mandatory to. I just like to honor now and just put in why my heart is into this. Taguig City and myself and Mayor Lani had the privilege of meeting the President of Singapore. And he's a finance guy. I think he was a previous chairman of finance or secretary of finance. And he was talking about the best investment ever in terms of return of investment. And of course, when he said that, everyone was listening. Is it property? Is it oil and gas? Is it stocks? Is it bonds? Ang sabi niya, the highest return on investment is investing in mothers and then to the child 0 to 1,000. Simple reason, sabi niya, pag stunted na at naging irreversible, you may have the biggest budget for education, you may give them scholarship, pero yung mental development nila have been stunted or may problema na. Di ba? Ganun din sa health. No? Maybe at this point, I can, I just got this out of the internet. Ginugol ko lang na problems of stunting. With your permission, I'll read this. No? Stunting is a major global crisis because it causes irreversible damage to a child's physical growth and brain development, leading to a lifelong health struggles, poor performance, and reduced economic potential. So this was taken from PubMed Central. Stunting means a child has a low height for their age. It is caused by chronic undernutrition and repeated infections, mostly during a baby's first 1,000 days of life, from conception to the age of 2. According to the World Health Organization, the effects of stunting go far beyond short stature. So, growing up, I'm older than you. Halos ka-age ko si Senate President, Senator Bam. Yun nga, yung tuksuhan na bansot or maliit. But yun nga, it's not just the height. And of course, growing up, Filipinos have always shorter than the Europeans, African Americans, etc. No? But may immediate risk to of frequent sickness. Stunted children have a weak immune system. They catch infections like diarrhea and pneumonia more often. Delayed growth, the damage done by age 2 is largely permanent and cannot be easily fixed with later feeding. So the point is, even DOH and PhilHealth, no offense to the present crop and everything, but I've been in Congress since 1998 eh. Wala pa naman nagdi-disagree sa atin na dapat priority to. Pero when push comes to shove, when you look at the hundreds of billions, the money for intervention for stunting is always mixed up with everything else.
It's also stunted. The
It's
money is
also stunted, yeah.
Okay.
To be fair naman to them, so while I do criticize, to be fair to them, it's also interagency. Diba? And theoretically, DOH, the health department should be devolved. So, but they have the money. And 1/4, 1/3 of all barangays in the Philippines do not have a primary healthcare center.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, no, you hit the nail on the head. Itong taong pong ito, ang laki ng tinaas ng pondo para sa school-based feeding program. And that was, of course, thanks to the leadership of our Senate President. Nung tinaas po yan, malaki po yung jump. And I remember last year, pinag-uusapan natin with DSWD Secretary Rex Gatchalian kung kailangan pa nila ng pondo. Isipin nyo po, tayo na po yung nag-o-offer na mas pondohan yung kanilang supplemental feeding program. No? And he was honest enough to say, kahit pondohan nyo po kami, habang hindi malinaw yung accountability, habang hindi malinaw sino yung talagang responsible dito, hindi yan magagamit ng tama. Huwag nyo yun lang munang ibigay sa amin. Gawin na muna natin yung batas. Linawin na muna natin sino accountable bago yung pondo. So this year, Mr. President, with this law, we hope that it will also usher in, as you had said, the accountabilities, the responsibilities, the programs. Wala nang turuan kung sino bang responsable dito. Para sa akin, simple lang. There are only two agencies or two groups that have the capacity to have the biggest scale. One are the LGUs and the other one is DepEd.
Yes.
Yung DepEd, I think everybody can agree, yung school-based feeding program, kailangan talaga nating pondohan. Yun po yung malaking pondo this year. The law will actually add to the years which are universal. Currently, it's just kinder and grade 1. Hopefully, we will also have grade 2 and grade 3. Although the other day, Senator Raffy Tulfo was saying dapat hanggang grade 6 universal. And the other one are the LGUs because DSWD, DOH, DILG, lahat naman po sila have to work through the LGUs. Wala naman pong talagang kakayahan yung mga ahensyang yan na magpatupad. No? And I don't know if the Senate President will agree with me or not. Everything will eventually go to our LGUs. So sila po talaga yung dapat nating makapacitate, matulungan, mapondohan para mabigyan ng tamang kakayahan to implement these programs through the BHW and through their other LGU divisions or through the local government unit. Yung NNC, yung kanila pong programa napakaliit. It's only in 5 municipalities. It's really more like a pilot program. So hindi ko talaga counted yung implementation na yan. NNC should really focus on the policy side. Should focus on the right mix of menus for the children at yung costing. No? Yun talaga yung focus niyan. Yung implementation po nila is really more like a pilot. DOH, they're devolved already. Kahit ano pang pondong makuha nila, and thank you for bringing up that they have a 30 billion loan coming up. Kahit po mag-loan ng DOH, it's still through the LGUs yung implementation. LGU pa rin yan. And then DSWD, aminado rin naman po sila na hanggang regional po sila, and I'm looking at our friends here, no? Tama naman, di ba? And it will still be through the LGUs. And DILG, we say DILG, but we actually mean LGU. Iba po yun. The DILG will just monitor at may DILG personnel rin po sila. Pero at the end of the day, it's the LGUs, the supplemental feeding program, the child development centers, the support for the BHW and the BNS. Yun po yung magpapatupad nung 0 to 5. At yung 5 and onwards naman is DepEd. So the way I see it, the truly accountable here are the LGUs. Napakaraming Big Brother nakabantay from DSWD to DOH, but it's really the LGUs implementing. We need to give them the money, support them. If they already are spending for it, dagdagan natin. And then DepEd, who has 24 million learners with them right now. Si 24 million po, Mr. President, sa totoo lang, kung i-add mo yung number of students at number of teachers, parang kasing laki ng Australia No? So ganun po kalaki ang responsibilidad ng DepEd. So we need to really support those two. While the other agencies, yung pondo, klaruhin na natin na tulong na lang dapat yan dun sa mga talagang nag-i-implement. Those who really have the capacity to reach more students, more youth, yun yung dapat pinopondohan po natin.
I agree with you in concept. And I'm happy to hear yung sinabi mo na linawin na natin dito para klaro. But everyone also agreed with me during the budget hearing last time. We went so far as saying, sino ang anti-stunting SAR? Pero wala rin because unlike, let's say, housing, pag sinabi natin, NHA na lang yan, LGU, so lupa, pera, permits na lang yan, magagawa. So just to give a on-the-ground practical approach on this, no? So first, I doubt DOH will give the money for anti-stunting directly to the LGUs. And even if they do, will it be enough? And assuming it's enough, there are areas where the prevalence is much higher, like Barn. And then let's go to the DSWD sa 4Ps. We all agree that 4Ps is an ideal program if masunod lahat ng parameters niya, 'di ba? Yung check-up, tapos may mga nag-volunteer na religious groups to do life coaching and everything, 'di ba? But makikita mo pag sa mall dinistribute yung 4Ps, hindi pagkain yung binibili. Minsan may may loto, may whatever, no, na ano. And I'm not judging. I mean, I'm judging the program, not the person. Mahirap ang buhay, konting entertainment, konting kasama yan. So my point is, Mr. President and Mr. Sponsor, that kung mahihimay natin like what we did in our meeting. So, for example, sa monitoring, no, while we were walking just now, sabi ko, ilan ba talaga ang barangay health workers? So, 277,000, 767,000. If we give them 1,000 pesos, that's less than 300 million pesos. If we give them 2,000, I think lahat kasi karamihan ng BHW, 1,500 hanggang 3,000 lang for the month.
Yes.
Kung bigyan natin sila ng 2,000 pesos for a one-day Oplan timbang, and nasa kanila na yung list ng mga 0 to 1,000 days, that's, if you do it 3 times a year, that's only 1.5 billion. So what's 1.5 billion sa AX mo na 63 billion? Diba? Of course, politicians would rather be the one to distribute the AX and to choose sinong pagbibigyan. But again, we're talking about our future because we're not only talking about yung wasted and severe malnutrition, stunting. We're talking about nutrition in general. So I'd like to ask if you'd consider some kind of computation like this. Sure. Because if we're sure that they will, why 3 times, Mr. President? Because pag unang na-monitor, kailangan balikan yon kung underweight or under height. Pero ang maganda dito, ang pinakamahirap yung una. And secondly, kaya kailangan ng pangalawa because hindi naman sabay-sabay nanganganak lahat ng nakatira sa isang lugar. So assuming January and then June and then November, masasakop mo lahat ng 0 to or 1 day old to 2,000. So I'm not asking that DOH give their prenatal care, for example, funding to the LGUs because ginagawa na to ng PhilHealth. And for LGUs that have PhilHealth accredited health centers, medyo masosolve ang problema. But again, there are 1/4 or 1/3 of our barangays na wala naman health center. But if it's a private health center na accredited ng PhilHealth at meron na silang package for buntis. But what we discussed, Mr. President, kanina is what about pagka-stunted? And again, thank you for the honest answer. Ang sabi kasi, di ba, pag may sakit, may physical manifestation. By definition kasi ang stunted lower yung average height versus its age, di ba? So I mentioned during that meeting is that pero yun na nga yung manifestation eh. And the point is if someone is poor and undernourished yung bata and getting sick, may infection, and then ang ginagamot lang yung infections, hindi ginagamot yung pagka-stunted o yung undernutrition, more or less, yung mahirap na pamilya na yan, wala talagang pang-doktor. Walang pang deeper test than the infection that was solved, di ba? Pero kung may kasi ang package ngayon ng PhilHealth is for severe acute malnutrition. So some, hindi all. Di ba? Sabi nga nila sana all. So dapat gumawa din ng package yung
Hinihintay ko po si Senate President at tumawa. Hindi po siya tumawa.
Yung package kasi ng PhilHealth ngayon, severely
Acute.
malnutrition some. So hindi siya all. So
Yes,
ang
some.
problema yung mga may nililista niya yung joke. Tina-type niya na sa computer niya.
Sinishare po niya sa kanyang significant other.
So mahirap talaga pagka binata ang Senate President mo.
Busy.
No, so Mr. President, anyway, the DOH and PhilHealth representatives will communicate and hopefully by the time nung period of amendment, may pasok natin
Yes.
to. Okay. I promise you a shorter period, Senator Bam, and you look much better now than a while ago, but I'll still try to.
My BP has gone to normal, I think, already, Mr. President.
In the mornings, you already are dealing with the BP.
Another
The VP impeachment. So in the afternoon, you're dealing with your
BP.
BP, blood pressure. Okay. Best practices, no? So in Indonesia, stunting reduced by 9.2% in 4 years, from 31% to 22% through.
Ayun na nga mga kababayan, dito na natatapusin ang ating reaction video na to. Maraming salamat sa pag-support sa page of Tik. Mag-ingat po kayo lahat dyan. Maraming salamat. Mahal na Pilipinas.